If you're here, you're probably hoping to improve the efficiency of your code and perhaps get more experience with making functions and learning about loops and iterative processes in R. So automation is great. That's what computers are made for, to reduce the amount of repeated code and errors that can come along with it and save you time and energy. So why use automation? Right, we can reduce errors, so no more copy and pasting, reducing the chance of renaming something in one place but not in another, things like that. And efficiency, save so much time not writing things out over and over again and repeating yourself. So what is a function? You have certainly already used lots of functions in R through various libraries, things like mean, absolute value, concatenate, view, etc. And functions have all of these kind of similar features: names, what the name of the function is, arguments that it takes, the function body, and some sort of value that gets returned to you. So looking at an example for the mean function, right, it takes some sort of input as x, and then there are all these other arguments that we can supply to mean, like trim or NA remove to remove NAs. And then there's a function body, and these are statements that are kind of nested inside the function that defines what the function does. So for example, for mean, right, we're going to take the sum of x divided by the number of items or objects inside the vector, and then return the average. And so this last value, the return value, is the last expression of the function body to be evaluated. It's the result. So we can make our own functions called user-defined functions that follow the same format. So this is just an example showing you a function where we want to take a times b and add c. So the arguments that it takes are the values for a, b, and c. And the function body here is going to print the results of a times b plus c. And we're going to get a returned numeric value of that. So always, we want to practice good housekeeping. We're going to talk about that in the tutorial today, how you can keep notes for yourself and others so that next time that you go back and try to use the function, and maybe if you have an error or some sort of issue, you can kind of suss out what you did and what went wrong. And then always, it's great to just kind of keep it simple when you can. If there's an easy way to do something, go and do that, and don't make anything more complicated than it needs to be. So another way we can automate our workflow is through iteration. What is iteration? Well, let's say we've got this need to execute a block of code a certain number of times. Let's say we want to print 1 through 5. I could do it very manually and say print 1, print 2, print 3. Or alternatively, we could use an iterative option. So this is a for loop where we are printing each of those numbers, and all we are writing is this initial statement up top, and then we get the printed out result that we are hoping for. And so what happens in this loop, right, we have for I in 1 through 5, print I. And what's happening is the first time through the loop, I takes a value of 1, and we print 1. And then the next time through the loop, I takes a value of 2, and we print 2. And then I takes 3, print 3, and so on until we get to 5, where it will terminate. So in the previous example, we would only get the printed out version of what we had printed there, 1 through 5. And if we actually wanted to store that output somewhere, what we could do is initialize an output. So here in this line 79 here, I'm making an object, an empty numeric object called out. And what we're doing here is that I'm storing the output here by using this indexing notation in our out object. And then we can see the result. So this is going to be a very similar result as what we saw before. And instead of 1 through 5, we're going to get 1 plus 1 at the first iteration. So the output would be 2, and then 2 plus 1, 3, output would be 3, and so on until we get to 5 plus 1, store that would be 6 in output.